saying they had crossed a line of permissibility and were at risk of leading Turkey into the most severe situation. Lavrov said Turkey was hurting its long-term national interests. Meeting with Lavrov, Syria's foreign minister Walid Muallem said it was an unprecedented, provocative act of aggression by Turkey. Meanwhile, Turkish President Recep Erdogan has said that Russia should not play with fire. He's invited Russian President Vladimir Putin to meet him next week on the sidelines of the Paris Climate Change Summit, but says he's not yet received an answer. Nick Harper, Moscow.
Germany will expand its role militarily fighting ISIS in a response to France's request for assistance. The German defence minister announced the news a day after a meeting between the two leaders of the two countries. Our correspondent Iris Spitzer reports from Berlin.
German Tornado jets will fly reconnaissance missions in Syria, and a frigate will be deployed to protect a French aircraft carrier in the eastern Mediterranean that serves as a base for airstrikes in Syria and Iraq. French President François Hollande called for assistance from other EU countries in the wake of the Paris terror attacks which killed at least 130 people. Germany will also deploy additional troops to the UN peacekeeping mission in Mali to help free up French resources there. However, German officials have already said that the country will not directly participate in the airstrikes in Iraq and Syria. Ira Spitzer, Berlin.
Officials in Chicago have announced first-degree murder charges this week against an officer who shot dead an African-American teenage boy last year. This comes amidst a national debate over the high rate of ethnic minorities who are killed by US police. Our US correspondent Mary McCarthy has more.
The charges against Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke come as officials prepare to release dashcam video of the shooting. The video has been described as graphic and disturbing and is expected to spark protests. The officer, who is white, is a 14-year veteran of the Chicago police force. He says he shot 17-year-old Laquan McDonald 16 times because he feared for his life. Meanwhile, tension is also high in Minneapolis, where 5 people were shot and wounded overnight at a protest over the fatal police shooting of an unarmed African-American man.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
From bureaus around the world, this is FSN Spotlight.
The British Prime Minister says the UK cannot wait for a political settlement in Syria before taking military action against Islamic State in the country. David Cameron has been outlining the government's plans ahead of a potential vote on expanding Britain's airstrikes into Syria to join its allies.
We do face a fundamental threat to our security. We can't wait for a political transition. We have to hit these terrorists in their heartlands right now. And we must not shirk our responsibility for security or hand it to others.
David Cameron was clear to address concerns of legality, saying Britain would be acting in self-defence. He also said Kurdish troops and the Free Syrian Army could assist the UK on the ground. Inderjeet Palmer is a professor of international politics at City University.
That's probably the most realistic short-term option available. So I think arming local forces, directing them more, providing logistical information, intelligence and air cover and so on, I think that's likely to be the best. But the problem with that is whom to trust.
Any expansion of Britain's airstrikes into Syria would require a vote in Parliament. It's thought a vote on this could take place next week. But even the Prime Minister admits himself that airstrikes alone will not be enough to defeat Islamic State. With FSN Spotlight in London, I'm Dan Whitehead.
And finally, President Obama addressed the nation this week to say the US government knows of no concrete intelligence pointing to an imminent terror attack on American soil. He spoke ahead of the annual Thanksgiving holiday, the busiest travel day of the year in the United States. After meeting members of his national security team, President Obama said it was understandable Americans were fearful, but the latest information doesn't indicate an attack is in the pipeline. And that's the Week in Review. Kevin McAleese reporting.
Being green is good. Growing green is good. Making green is great. CannabisRadio.com.
From the Sky News Centre at 6. 3 people have died in a shootout at a family planning clinic in the US state of Colorado.
We have 2 civilian casualties on scene, and we have the death of 1 police officer. The death of the officer on scene It's from the University of Colorado at Colorado Springs Police Department.
Lieutenant Catherine Buckley updated reporters after the siege in Colorado Springs, which lasted around 5 hours. 9 people, including 5 officers, were injured. The suspected gunman is in police custody. It's not yet known what the motive was behind the attack. 2 people have died in a house fire on Merseyside. Police who were attending a separate incident on the same street in Seacombe tried to rescue the man and woman, but couldn't because of the smoke and intense heat. The Labour leaders turned to party members to help resolve a major split among his MPs over airstrikes in Syria. Jeremy Corbyn's emailed people for their views as he's at odds with much of his front bench in saying he doesn't want the UK to bomb Islamic State targets there. An investigation's been launched after Arabic graffiti was found daubed on 4 EasyJet planes in France. The airline says the inscriptions were on panels covering the fuel tanks, but it doesn't consider it a threat. Amazon says Black Friday helped it break its own UK sales record. The online retailer says more than 6 million items were ordered yesterday, beating the site's previous high of 5.5 million set on the same day last year. But independent retail analyst Richard Hyman doesn't think Black Friday will be breaking many other records.
26%, according to our research, 26% of retailers actually opted out of Black Friday this year. That's a bigger number than I would have thought.
In sport, Andy Murray makes his second appearance in Great Britain's Davis Cup tennis finals with Belgium later. He's due to team with brother Jamie in the doubles. That's the latest. I'm Elizabeth Williams.
Ganjapreneur.com, your guide to the cannabis business world. Ganjapreneur.com is a comprehensive resource for cannabis professionals and entrepreneurs. Download the Ganjapreneur app on your smartphone or tablet to catch up on cannabis industry news, scroll through our daily job listings, and learn about successful cannabis companies, executives, and investors. Ganjapreneur.com, helping Ganjapreneurs grow. Ganjapreneur.com, your guide to the cannabis business world. Ganjapreneur.com is a comprehensive resource for cannabis professionals and entrepreneurs. Download the Ganjapreneur app on your smartphone or tablet to catch up on cannabis industry news, scroll through our daily job listings, and learn about successful cannabis companies, executives, and investors. Ganjapreneur.com, helping Ganjapreneurs grow.
Puff, puff, share it with a friend. CannabisRadio.com.
This is the USA Radio Business Report. I'm Russ Jones. Shopping season is kicking off and stores are gearing up for record traffic. Best Buy spokesperson Sandra Tollefson says Americans are particularly out to get technology gifts this season.
We know through our own research that 2/3 of Americans plan to give tech as a gift this year, and we've surveyed them, and we know that they're really excited about the 4K TVs, tablets, headphones, wireless speakers, fitness trackers, and smartwatches.
Tollefson advises Black Friday shoppers to plan their shopping route ahead of time. Big doorbuster products typically come in limited quantities, so it's important to read fine print in advertisements.
A little planning does go a long way, so my first piece of advice is plan your route ahead of time. Check out those doorbuster ads from the comfort of your home and figure out which stores you want to hit up in what order.
This is the USA Radio Business Report. For more, we're on the web at westernjournalism.com. I'm Russ Jones.
USA Radio News, I'm Jason Wirt. Police say the active shooter is still inside a Colorado Springs Planned Parenthood building, but they don't know much more than that. At a chaotic press conference, Lieutenant Catherine Buckley said they don't even know if the gunman is holding hostages.
I can't confirm whether he does at this point or not.
Demands?
We have not been in voice contact with the suspect.
And he is in the Planned Parenthood building?
Yes, he is in the Planned Parenthood building.
Lieutenant Buckley said police could not confirm whether the Planned Parenthood was the target of the assault or whether it was just a random choice by the gunman. She also said despite reports on social media, they have not identified the gunman. 3 people are dead after heavy rains caused flooding in North Texas. A woman who was trapped in swift water near Fort Worth is reported missing. Most of the Dallas-Fort Worth area remains under a flash flood watch as the heavy rains continue to fall across the region. USA Radio News.
In the beginning, man had to painstakingly brave the elements and scale the highest mountains just to deliver the good news.
Hear ye! Hear ye! Now they just go to ChristianPress.com. It's fast, affordable, and much easier on the joints. Quickly and painlessly deliver your message with ChristianPress.com. ChristianPress.com connects you directly to thousands of journalists, media outlets, news networks, and social media platforms, ensuring your message hits the mark. Every time, your audio and digital content will be professionally produced, so your business or organization's message stands head and mountains above the rest. So reach your target market and get the results you need with ChristianPress.com or call 316-644-6185. That's 316-644-6185.
Friends, Romans, and countrymen, lend me your...
Okay, Skippy, you can get off the mountain now. We found ChristianPress.com. Spread your good news. Visit ChristianPress.com today.
The Reverend Jesse Jackson led a protest in Chicago's Miracle Mile today, protesting the shooting of a black youth by a white police officer and the cover-up of a video for over a year. Jackson said they want to challenge the culture of the Chicago police.
One police killed LeGuan. It was his 20th infraction that he was still on the payroll. Now another police saw the killing and never reported it was the murder there was. So that's culture. Not only must the chief must go, but the culture must change.
Black Friday is apparently not drawing the big crowds to some retailers. Analysts are saying bargain hunters were out in force on Thanksgiving evening to take advantage of discounts on clothing, electronics, and other holiday gifts. Many shoppers also snapped up their deals online, spending more than $820 million since midnight. The National Retail Federation says they're expecting a 3.7% rise in holiday sales this year, a 15% increase from last year. USA Radio News.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-479-2697. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-479-2697.
Indiana Senator Dan Coates told Fox News the FBI is tracking at least 48 ISIS suspects within the United States that are considered so high risk, mobile FBI teams monitor them 24 hours a day. While Senator Coates didn't give specifics of the cases, he said the nature of the team's work requires a great amount of FBI time and resources. Coates added the suspects are those the FBI considers most likely to try copycat attacks after the Paris Islamic terror attacks that killed 130 people. 2 people are dead following a boating accident in New Jersey. Here's correspondent Terry Sheridan.
The boat capsized off of Point Pleasant Beach at about 1:40 this afternoon. The Coast Guard and a Good Samaritan pulled 6 people out of the water, while an NYPD helicopter assisted and rescued a 7th. The 5 survivors are expected to recover. The boat was about 1,000 feet offshore when it capsized, and it's not clear what caused the boat to tip over, but witnesses say there are high swells on the water. Terry Sheridan, New York.
And some bad news for Donald Trump. The Republican presidential candidate appears to be losing some support. In a new Reuters Ipsos poll, his rankings dropped 12% in less than a week, marking the largest decline since he rose to the top of the field in July. The real estate mogul was a favorite of 43% of Republicans just 5 days ago. Today, only favored by 31%. The decline follows criticism of Trump for mocking a disabled reporter. He also recently made comments implying he would support requiring all Muslims to be registered in a special database. More news at westernjournalism.com.
Dr. Dabber, hurry! Its temperature is shooting past 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's burning up.
I'm afraid for this little guy, it's just too late.
What caused the problem?
Only Dr. Dabber can maintain the perfect temperature for a smooth-tasting, slower burn. This standard vaporizer lost all of its health benefits, sending it up in smoke.
So you're telling me that most vapor pens burn so hot they produce smoke, not vapor?
Correct. Keep away from those standard vaporizer pens and turn to Dr. Dabber. Doctor's orders.
Less heat, more flavor.
Growing green to generate more green.
Hello to all you happy herbalizers, smiling trippy hippies, and everyone who believes in freedom and tolerance. This is The Grow Show, and I'm Kyle Cushman.
From food to fuel, from remedy to resource.
Welcome my guest, Ed Rosenthal, the guru of ganja. Let me ask you, right now I hear your lighter clicking. Are you smoking indoor or are you smoking sun-grown?
What am I smoking? I'm smoking concentrate.
Way to get out of the answer there. So you're truly like the king, right? You just clap your hands and somebody brings you a bowl and you're all set, right?
I wish that were the case.
The Grow Show with Kyle Cushman, only on CannabisRadio.com.
USA Radio Network Sports, I'm Ray Canterbury, the Golden State.